I'm David Cromwell, and welcome to the pod. So picture this. I'm on my way to work, and there is traffic, as you would expect in Lagos. A lot of honking, a lot of buzzing, but there's only one thing on my mind. I'm searching the internet. I'm scanning frantically to find videos or any talks or anything. I get to work, and the burden of it was so much that I begin to even write a journal, like I typically do, but this time it's a bit different. This time I'm trying to teach myself a lesson that I feel like I can't find anywhere. Something that I wish the school of life could teach me. I'm trying to learn what it means to live with the mantra of progression over perfection. The weight of my standards had gotten so much that I needed to be more in touch with my own humanity. And this episode is one of the results of that experience. It's what I would refer to as some of the gems that I've picked up in 2025. So maybe you're like me, under the weight of the standards that you set for yourself. Or maybe you just trying to figure out why it feels like you've been stuck in a cycle. Well, you're in the right place. This episode is just for you. Come on in and enjoy this podcast. So, with that said, I'm David Cromwell, and I believe in the virality of thoughts and the power of conversations to shape how we live for the better. This space is where those conversations happen and a home to people who are on a journey to truly live the way we were created to. Welcome to this safe space. Welcome to Cromwell's Harbor. All right. So, how have you been? I'm looking for a way where I'll be able to get an answer to these questions, but please answer me. And by the way, Spotify is probably going to be taking down the comment feature for Nigerian podcasters. So while we still have this comment feature, let's enjoy it, shall we? So please let me know how you're doing. And let's also see how we can communicate outside of the comments. So I really appreciate when people send me messages. So please send me messages through my platforms, through Instagram, D David Cromwell, or my email, which is richdavidcromwell@gmail.com. So please reach out to me whichever way it's possible. Okay. All right. So how am I doing? Well, quite interesting actually. Quite interesting. In summary, I would say needing to re-listen to a lot of the things that I've shared on this podcast. So for some reason, I feel like I really pushed a lot over the previous week. Then some things kind of like powered up into this week, and I've just been pushing myself a lot, and just needed to relearn and re-listen and um embrace some of the things that I picked up in my retreat again. Right. But one thing that I also have kind of been embracing and enjoying is just the fact that I truly have grown. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to say that like you're stronger and better than you were before. So that's nice. Like, yeah, so there's a lot of things happening, having to make some important decisions. But one thing that I've just been saying is just how God has been faithful, really. A lot of things that He has told me earlier in the year are things that I should be using and practically applying to my life, like right now, because those are the things that will see me through the season when everything just feels like it's so clouded. But you know, everything that He has said to you in the light, you hold on to it in the dark and use that to see to the other end of the tunnel. So that's pretty much where I have been really growing strength to deal with bigger stuff. But yeah, thanks for asking, even though you didn't ask. So this episode is an episode that is very dear to my heart. Because if I could say something was kind of like the heart of everything that I've picked this year, I would say it's this episode. The central lesson that I have taken with me all throughout. That's really the heart of progression over perfection. Learning how to embrace the journey, learning how to celebrate, taking it easy on yourself. I think it was a prophet, Adele, that really ministered this about how to take it easy on me, baby. And really just how not just advisable, not just nice, but how imperative and how important to growth this particular thing is. So I'm saying this from a place of two very pivotal moments that I had this year. And obviously I had many pivotal moments, but these two were the ones that I could say I'll probably I don't like to I think the would I say the Pentecostal in me. I have a lot of influences. So I have my Pentecostal influence, I have my word of faith influence. So those two sides of me don't like to admit that I burnt out. So I guess I would say as I was close to the edge of approaching my limits. So those two moments where I had things like that was when I just really realized I was putting a lot on myself, a lot of expectations. Because, like I said, this year is a year where I see a lot of growth for me. And getting to the end of myself and just realizing that, like, man, this pressure I'm putting is not helping me. It's even making things worse. And you know, when you put pressure on yourself, and then you have to run away from the pressure you've put on yourself. And the way you run away from it is even adding more pressure because you're not impressed with how you ran away. And it was just really creating that whole cycle that was unhealthy. And maybe you are in that same shoe. I just want you to just know that you found the right place. And I want to share my journey. I want to share it. And in listening to this journey, you get to pick up a couple of things for yourself. Firstly, I think you'll be related to, and you'll be able to see some of the things that helped me go through that season. So I think there is a lot of power, unspoken power, in just being able to relate to someone else and just hear some of the thought patterns that took them out of that phase, or some of the things that kind of helped like a light to navigate a way out of that phase, right? So that's what this is. And brief confession is that this actually was meant to be part of this was not actually I think the past three episodes were meant to be one episode actually. But I just realized that there's a lot of depth in the well that is Cromwell. There's just a lot that I have to say. I've literally had to split one episode into like six or seven. So take this one and hold it. So you could tell sometime my narrating story will show that it was meant to be one episode, but I'll definitely show it to bless you. All right, so let's get in. I think a couple of things that I've been learning and has really stuck me. I'll just run through them. And I think I already talked about it before, and that is like progression over perfection. And this came from a very deep moment. So I think I've been picking it up a little, but this came from a very deep moment that I had sometime in like May 3rd. So picture this, right? So I have been trying to push certain things off the ground with my 30, 30 plus resolution. Trying to go into a new job, and I go into a field where, like, we're talking about skill sets that I was growing in. So to a large extent, I was in that Mandarin phase. Everything felt like everything was strange, and new to me. Then family dynamics, which I probably might get into it one day on this pod, and then huge decisions that you have to navigate as an adult, like Claire had shared in her own when she was talking, and trying to do some breakthrough projects. I was just trying to do a lot in one year because I knew this year was special, right? And then I just had like one major frustrating event at work, and then just started to just trickle down, and it sent everything downhill. And then I have this weird dream. So I'm sleeping, but like I'm not actually rested. I don't know if you've had those kind of dreams where you sleep and you wake up almost more exhausted than you were before you slept. Right. It was crazy. So I just started to take this walk, and I'm tired of myself because I feel like I'm not growing the way I want to. And it feels pretty bad. And so I started to journal, like an audio journal. And I did this kind of like what I refer to as like a Temu version of a walk that you see in movies, because like it was 11 a.m., but the sun was like a 1 p.m. sun. And I'm just like, what? There was no vitamin D in sight at all. And then I think some things hit me on that walk. And the funny thing about the way things hit me and the way God speaks to me sometimes is I instruct myself, but it's like God actually like gave me the thing to instruct my own self. But like prior to that, I never knew this was something about me. So what happened? Should I say it, or let me just share a snippet of the book? So hear it yourself.
So as I'm taking my walk now in the hot afternoon sun, I'm just learning a couple of things, and my thoughts are just really just like processing some stuff that I have needed to put into context for a while. And that has been predominantly whenever someone is good at something, and I was surrounded around this phrase that oftentimes when you're someone who is typically good at most things, you are oftentimes bad at the process of getting good at new things. So you can be good at things, but be actually bad at the process of getting good at things. So because you're so used to like always knowing what to do, data analysis, you smash it. From the first day you started, you're already good in school, at work, all of those things, and and then you then carry it to other areas of life, like taking on other mountains. Maybe it could be dealing with family responsibilities, or learning how to sleep better or rest, you know. And because like you have been so good at every other thing else that you've done in your life, like you've grown at a rapid rate spiritually, so many things come, at ease to you. You don't know what it's like to not be good instantly at something. Or rather, you've forgotten that maybe you went through a journey to get good at the things that you're currently good at, but you've been good at them for so long, and you're used to them just happening like at that point, that you're not used to that environment, or you've forgotten what it was like to be on the journey to getting good at those things. And I think one essential
So
thing.
what I talk about in the rest of the 20-minute plus audio under the hot sun was just really just how much I think I kind of captured it to a large extent, that progression over perfection. Sometimes the desire to be perfect or to be good at things from the jump could be the very reason why you actually never get good at them to begin with, right? Sometimes part of the process is actually getting good. Like part of the process of getting good at something is knowing how to get good at patience and faith in yourself and being comfortable with the mess of the process and knowing that with time, like the entire picture would form. Um, so like to just really pride progression over perfection, right? And like condemnation, many times is just like a total waste. Sometimes it feels hard to believe that, believe this because it's like, man, you should feel bad if you do wrong. But when you start to see things from God's standpoint, you realize that it's actually not a very helpful thing. Like IJ was saying, if God has accepted you, like, who are you to bash your own self, right? Think about it logically. Judging yourself by every mistake that you make on your journey to virtue is the very reason why you might actually never get to complete the journey to begin with. Think about that. Just imagine you were, just imagine you tried to learn how to walk and you were ashamed at every fall that you had when you tried. You probably would not be walking today. You know, your parents, when you're trying to walk, your parents clapped for you, every step you took, as though you had run a marathon. They would cheer for you, they would clap for you. Everybody would be so impressed, everybody would be opening eyes. Till you finally did it. And those steps were not even impressive. They were not even cool steps. They were not like wrong way steps. They were very wobbly steps. And you were encouraged at every step. And that's what actually gave you the push to continue. You know, there was the example, there was the instinct, but then there was the encouragement for the journey. Now, think about it. If that was how we learned something so fundamental, why do we try to grow in other areas by shaming ourselves and feeling bad and concluding, you know, and then wonder why we're not getting better? So if God is not beating you up, like my bro, my sis, don't beat yourself up. You're not holy enough to condemn yourself if God is on your side. All right. So God is wise enough to like correct us to sharpen our desire, but condemnation is kind of like concluding who you are, that you are the sum of your mistakes, right? In a sense. And in a sense, it starts to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So just have the idea of grace. The reason why grace is the best for teaching and for growth is because many times the reason why we don't get some things right at the jump is not because of desire. It's not even because of nature. It's just because of growing that, exercising that muscle to actually, it's like kick into gear. And if you don't have that kind of long-term view to your growth, many times you might not get good at new things. And that's what I was learning about myself, that, I had known how to be good at stuff for the longest of time, but I had forgotten how to be good at the process of getting good. And that many times means that you have to have like a view of progression over perfection, right? So that's a wrap. I don't know where you're listening to this from, or whichever place you might be as you hear my voice. Maybe this is just a confirmation. Maybe you've been hearing this actually, and this is like a confirmation for you. Or maybe it's actually new to you and you're just figuring out just why, hmm, this might be just the reason why I've not been growing, or why I've been in a cycle of trying, not meeting it, feeling bad in the process, and almost being stuck in a cycle. But no matter wherever this is finding you are at, one thing that I know is that every single person under the sound of my voice would need this at one point in their life, because it's just so integral to how we grow. So this is what I would say. Listen to this, save it, keep it. Interestingly, as I'm even listening to this episode, as I remake it, I am being instructed because I've almost forgotten it. And I have to relearn it all over again. Um, but take it with you. And in addition, share this with someone that you care for. We are both on this journey, or if you're listening in a group, we are all on this journey of actually shaping how people live for the better with the power of thoughts and conversations. You don't know just how far an episode can go into changing someone's life or helping them live better. So share with someone that you care for, someone that you love, and share with me your journey. Like, you know, encourage me as well that this actually went somewhere in your heart. So with that said, don't forget to subscribe or follow whichever platform that you are at. All right. Right now. So with that said, thanks for tuning in and see you next time. Bye.